Good afternoon, everyone. It's Anne Sinclair from Digestive Detective. Today we're going to do a case study and a wrap-up from diverticulitis, so if you've been following along at home. So the case I want to talk to you about today is Kathy. She's a 55-year-old woman. I have changed her name, so you don't have, there's no privacy issues. So she had known she had diverticulosis from a previous colonoscopy in her 40s. So she'd always been constipated and she really didn't like to eat fruit and vegetables. She was looking after an elderly parent, had a child during the HSC as well as working full time. So she was pretty stressed and pretty overwhelmed. So she rang me for a 15-minute free consultation from the hospital. So her diverticulosis had moved into diverticulitis. She'd had a major flare and had been in hospitals 4 days already when I'd spoken to her on quite serious antibiotics. So there's a lot of stuff happening for her. I saw her shortly after she had been released from the hospital. She was pale and in pain. Her main issues were inflammation, pain, and constipation. So with the treatment that we did, I try to keep it very simple because that she'd had such a big flare, I didn't want to give her anything that would aggravate her anymore. So our first aim was to get her unconstipated. Basically, we wanted her bowel to keep moving and to lower the inflammation and the pain. So they were our three main objectives. So constipation was easy. We did a magnesium citrate that kept her moving. Basically, so once that happens, the inflammation will start to go down simply because the bowel's moving. There's no chance that that fecal matter is going to be trapped inside the pocket. So we then went to gut healing stuff. I actually did some vitamin A with her, which helps with stopping infection. So it's very good for inhibiting infection. So we did that. And we also did a gut healing powder, and I put her on a prebiotic fibre. So the prebiotic fibre increases the water into a bowel, helps with the peristalsis, so that rhythmic wave that keeps the poo moving along. So we did that, and it also helps the consistency of the stool. So in constipation, it generally tends to balance out the bowel movement, so people are going more regularly. So we did that, and the gut healing powder was full of glutamine and pectin and those sorts of things, which would take away some of the inflammation and the pain. At her 4-week visit, the gastroenterologist was really pleased that she had done so much. The food that we gave her, she still had lots of fibre. We made sure it was cooked really well. We did lots of slow cooked meals, lots of slow cooked soups, but including fibre, but made sure it was really, really well cooked, so none of the bits of fibre would get stuck into the little pockets, which is really important. And as that heals over a longer period of time, you can then go back to a normal diet with fibre, but you need to make sure that you're processing it well and that you're still not in constipation and stuff like that. So a really good outcome. So she's due to go for another colonoscopy soon. So I'm sure the prognosis will be really good for her. So she just needs to be mindful of the stress she's under, the food she's eating, and how well her bowel's moving. So some of the questions that I've had from people around diverticulitis and their feedback and gut health has been really good. So I have had a few questions about fibre. How can I get enough fibre in my diet? Or do I need to take a fibre supplement? So there's a couple of things. An apple a day really does keep the doctor away. Stewed apples are one of my favourite things to recommend for people because it's got prebiotic fibres in it, it's got pectin in it, and it's got lots of fibre in it. So to get one apple has about 4 grams of fibre. So for a woman to get their intake of fibre for the day, in terms of apples, you'd have to eat about 6 apples, which is a lot. So there's less fibre in foods than you think. Most people that I see are not really eating enough fibre. So some high fibre foods that you can try are a cup of rolled oats with some banana, some berries, 2 tablespoons of mixed fruits, or some nuts on the top. That will give you, if you had a big bowl of that, that would give you about 10 grams of fibre. A stir fry with tofu, 2 cups of mixed veg, a half a cup of brown rice, that will give you about 7 grams depending on your choice of veg. So it can be really difficult to reach the 28 to 34 grams of fibre. So from a clinical perspective, I may supplement with a combination of soluble and insoluble fibres. So Insoluble fibre has been found to be really good for constipation in clinical trials. And the most commonly thought of fibre is psyllium, which is actually a soluble fibre. And this psyllium's not for everyone, so it's worth trying that out. So the key to getting the right fibre supplement, Metamucil is not a great fibre supplement. So that's not one I would recommend. I would prefer to give you a fibre supplement that's a prebiotic fibre, because then at least it's feeding your own gut bacteria. Whereas psyllium is Metamucil, and that's just irritating the lining of your gut. So they're slightly different. They both do the same thing, but one gives you one's a dual purpose. So always best with fibre to start really low and really slow. So start with a small bit and work your way up. Don't rush in, and this includes when you're putting more fruit and vegetables into your diet. If you go from 0 to a lot, your tummy's not going to be happy. So just do it gradually and get used to it, and get your gut bacteria getting used to the little bits of fibre as you go. So hope you've enjoyed this week on diverticulitis. Don't forget to drop me a line on Instagram or Facebook if you have any general questions. And if you're wanting to go a bit deeper, book in for a free 15-minute. I'm happy to tell you where you can go next. I'm always happy to tell people where to go, but I'll give you some ideas of what you should do and what's your next steps. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.